Have you ever wondered where the concept of anarchism originated? This thought-provoking question takes us back to the Enlightenment era, a period of intellectual and philosophical dynamism that spanned the 17th and 18th centuries. It was an epoch of revolution, not just in politics and science, but also in how people perceived society and its structures. Anarchism, as a political philosophy, found its roots during this time. The term itself comes from the ancient Greek word anarchia, meaning without a ruler. However, it was during the Enlightenment that it began to take shape as a theory advocating for a society free from coercion, a society where individuals could live in harmony without the need for a governing authority. Two figures stand out in the early development of anarchism: William Godwin and Pierre-Joseph Proudhon. Godwin, an English journalist and political philosopher, is often credited as the first modern proponent of anarchism. His seminal work, An Inquiry Concerning Political Justice, published in the last decade of the 18th century, argued for a minimalist state and the inherent goodness of individuals. He believed that if people were free from the constraints of government, they would naturally cooperate and create a harmonious society. Meanwhile, across the English Channel, Frenchman Pierre-Joseph Proudhon was formulating his own ideas about anarchism. He is perhaps most famous for his assertion that property is theft, a radical critique of the existing economic structures of his time. For Proudhon, anarchism was not about chaos or disorder, but about creating a society where power was decentralized and individuals were free to govern themselves. These early thinkers laid the groundwork for what would become a diverse and complex political philosophy, one that continues to evolve and influence our world today. So the seeds of anarchism were sown during a time of great intellectual awakening. As we move into the 19th century, how did anarchism evolve? The 19th century was a pivotal period for anarchist thought. The winds of change were blowing across Europe and North America, carrying with them the seeds of a distinct political philosophy, anarchism. It was during this time that anarchist ideas began to crystallize, moving from abstract discussions into tangible movements and actions. The growth of anarchist thought in the 19th century was largely a reaction to the rapid industrialization and urbanization of society. Many felt that these changes were leading to increased inequality and the erosion of individual freedoms. Anarchists sought to counter this by advocating for a society free from governmental control and coercion, where individuals could live in harmony and mutual aid. Two key events in the 19th century highlight the impact of anarchist thought during this time. The first of these was the Paris Commune of 1871. A radical socialist and revolutionary government, the Commune held power in Paris for 2 months. It was seen by many as a living embodiment of anarchist principles, with its emphasis on direct democracy and workers' self-management. The second event was the Haymarket Affair in 1886 in Chicago. A peaceful labor demonstration turned deadly when a bomb was thrown at police, triggering a violent clash. 8 anarchists were subsequently arrested and tried for murder. The event and the subsequent trial garnered international attention and sparked debates about the role of government, the rights of workers, and the merits of anarchist philosophy. These events, and others like them, showed that anarchism was more than just a philosophical concept. It was a potent force for change, capable of inspiring individuals to action and challenging the status quo. But the 19th century also saw significant pushback against anarchism. Governments and mainstream society often viewed anarchists as dangerous radicals, leading to persecution and suppression of anarchist ideas and movements. Yet, despite these challenges, anarchism continued to grow and evolve, its ideas seeping into the fabric of society and shaping the course of history in ways both subtle and profound. Anarchy, it seemed, was not a concept confined to the pages of philosophical treatises. The 20th century was a time of great change, but where did anarchism fit in? As we ushered in this era, the world was rapidly evolving, and so too were the ideologies that shaped it. Anarchism, having established its roots in the previous century, found a unique role in the tumultuous landscape of the 20th century. One of the most notable instances of anarchism in this period was during the Spanish Civil War. From 1936 to 1939, Spain was a battleground for a variety of political ideologies. Anarchists found an opportunity to put their principles into practice in the region of Catalonia, specifically in its capital, Barcelona. Here, they established a society where power was decentralized and decisions were made collectively. The workers took control of industries, and social hierarchy was vehemently rejected. This was a real-world experiment in anarchism, and for a brief moment, it seemed to work. However, the Spanish Civil War also illustrated the challenges that anarchists faced. The absence of a central authority made it difficult to organize against the disciplined forces of Franco's nationalists. Despite their efforts, the anarchist experiment in Catalonia ended with the defeat of the Republican forces in 1939. As the world moved towards the Cold War era, anarchism began to wane. The ideological battle between capitalism and communism left little room for anarchism. The rise of powerful, centralized governments and the increasing complexity of society made the anarchist ideal seem more utopian than ever. Anarchism became associated with chaos and disorder, rather than the pursuit of a society free from hierarchy and coercion. Yet, even in decline, the spirit of anarchism lingered, influencing movements and thinkers across the globe. It challenged the status quo and continued to present an alternative vision of society, one that valued freedom and equality above all else. Anarchism in the 20th century saw both its zenith and nadir. It was a time of great experimentation and struggle, a testament to the enduring allure of a world without rulers, and a reminder of the challenges such a world faces. So, how does anarchism fit into the modern world? Let's delve into that. In the dawn of the 21st century, anarchism experienced a resurgence, particularly within the anti-globalization movement. Critics of globalization saw in anarchism a potential solution to the inequalities and injustices brought about by the spread of multinational corporations and the homogenization of cultures. Anarchist groups began to spring up around the globe, each with their own unique focus and approach. For instance, in Greece, the Exarcheia neighborhood in Athens has become a hub for anarchist activity. Here, anarchists run social centers, health clinics, and schools, independent of the state, providing a glimpse into what a society without rulers could look like. Meanwhile, in the United States, groups like Crime Think and the Industrial Workers of the World, a union with a rich history dating back to the early 20th century, have kept the anarchist spirit alive. Crime Think, for instance, is a decentralized network of activists who engage in direct action and propaganda, advocating for the abolition of work and the creation of a world free from hierarchical power structures. Across the pond, in the United Kingdom, the Anarchist Federation is a thriving group that campaigns on a variety of issues, from housing rights to opposition to the monarchy. They work towards creating a world where power is distributed equally among all individuals, and where everyone has a say in decisions that affect their lives. Despite the variations in their focus and methods, these groups all share a common vision: a world without hierarchy, where individuals are free to live as they choose, without the coercion of a ruling class. They challenge the status quo, question authority, and dream of a society built on mutual aid and voluntary cooperation. So is anarchy a thing of the past? Far from it. Today, it's a vibrant and evolving ideology, inspiring activists and thinkers around the globe. It's a call to question, to challenge, and to imagine a world beyond the confines of our current systems. Anarchy, it seems, is not a relic of the past, but a living, breathing ideology. Despite its lengthy history, why do misunderstandings about anarchism persist? It's a question that's baffled many, but let's delve into it. A common misconception about anarchism is its association with violence and chaos. This misunderstanding likely stems from the way it's often portrayed in popular culture. We see images of hooded figures hurling Molotov cocktails, black flags waving amidst a sea of destruction, and we think, anarchy. But this isn't an accurate representation of the philosophy that underpins anarchism. Anarchism, at its core, is about challenging authority. It's about questioning why certain individuals or groups hold power, and whether that power is justified. It's not about tearing down for the sake of destruction, but about deconstructing systems of power that are seen as oppressive or unjust. Another misconception is that anarchy equates to lawlessness, a world without order. But this isn't the case either. Anarchists don't advocate for a society free of rules and regulations. Rather, they argue for a society where these structures are not imposed by a higher authority, but agreed upon by the community. The principle of voluntary association is key here, where individuals choose to cooperate and create rules that benefit everyone. Perhaps the most significant misunderstanding about anarchism is the belief that it's an unrealistic, utopian dream. Critics argue that a society without authority is impossible, that humans are inherently competitive and self-interested. But anarchists would argue that these traits are not inherent, but rather a product of the societies we live in. They believe in the potential for humans to live cooperatively, guided by principles of mutual aid and equality. So, in essence, anarchy is not about chaos, but about challenging authority and striving for a society rooted in equality and freedom. It's about envisioning a world where power is decentralized, where every voice matters, and where coercion and exploitation have no place. Anarchy is not about chaos, but about challenging authority and striving for a society rooted in equality and freedom. What impact has anarchism had on society and culture? It's a question that invites us to take a deep dive into the profound influence of this ideology on various facets of our world. The impact of anarchism can be traced back to the inception of the political theory itself. The anarchist philosophy, with its emphasis on individual freedom and the rejection of coercive authority, has shaped the political landscape in ways more profound than we often recognize. It has fueled numerous social movements, contributing to the fight for workers' rights, women's emancipation, and the civil rights movement. In the realm of literature, anarchism has left a distinctive mark. From the rebellious spirit encapsulated in the works of Henry David Thoreau and Leo Tolstoy, to the dystopian worlds presented by George Orwell and Aldous Huxley, the influence of anarchism is clear. These authors, inspired by the principles of anarchism, used their works to challenge existing power structures and envision societies where individual freedom reigns supreme. Anarchism has also played a significant role in the world of art. The idea of breaking free from societal norms and traditional aesthetics resonates with the ethos of many artists. This can be seen in the works of the Dadaists, who rejected the logic and reason of bourgeois society, and the Surrealists, who championed the liberation of the individual from societal constraints. Even in the realm of education, we see the echoes of anarchism. Progressive education movements advocate for a student-centered approach, promoting autonomy, creativity, and critical thinking over rote learning, reflecting the anarchist emphasis on individual freedom and autonomy. In the sphere of technology, the open source movement, with its rejection of proprietary software, mirrors the anarchist ethos of decentralization and community collaboration. Anarchism, then, has left an indelible imprint on our world. From politics to literature, art, education, and technology, the influence of this philosophy is pervasive and enduring, shaping our society and culture in myriad ways, both seen and unseen. What does the future hold for anarchism? This is a question that piques the curiosity of many. The future of anarchism, like any other ideology, is not set in stone. It's shaped by a complex interplay of societal norms, political landscapes, and individual beliefs. In the coming years, anarchism may face a myriad of challenges. Its anti-establishment ethos, while appealing to some, may turn others away. In an increasingly interconnected world, the idea of a society without a governing body may seem impractical, if not outright impossible. However, these challenges do not necessarily spell the end for anarchism. Instead, they could potentially spur its evolution, allowing it to adapt and thrive in the face of adversity. But it's not all uphill battles for anarchism. The future could also bring a wealth of opportunities. A growing disillusionment with traditional power structures, coupled with an increased awareness of social inequalities, could potentially fuel a resurgence in anarchist thought. Furthermore, as technology continues to advance, new platforms for decentralized, non-hierarchical communication and organization could emerge, providing anarchists with the tools to put their ideas into practice in innovative ways. Moreover, the future of anarchism isn't confined to political arenas alone. Its principles of autonomy, mutual aid, and direct action can be applied to various other aspects of life, including education, work, and even interpersonal relationships. This potential for broad applicability could well contribute to its longevity and relevance. As we look to the future, it's important to remember that anarchism is not a static doctrine, but a dynamic philosophy. It has the capacity to evolve and adapt, to question and challenge, and to inspire and empower. And while it may not provide all the answers, it certainly provokes thought and encourages critical inquiry. While the future of anarchism remains uncertain, its influence on our world is undeniable. So, what have we learned about anarchism? From the birth of anarchy, we've seen how it has been a persistent, if often misunderstood, thread in human history. It emerged in the 19th century, challenging the status quo and offering a unique perspective on power and authority. It continued to evolve throughout the 20th century, adapting to the changing world and influencing politics, culture, and society in profound ways. Misunderstandings about anarchy abound. It's not about chaos or disorder, but a questioning of the inherent structures of power. It's a philosophy that champions the individual and the community over the state. The impact of anarchy is undeniable. From shaping political movements to influencing philosophical thought, anarchism has left its mark. And as we look to the future, the spirit of anarchy persists, provoking us to question, to challenge, and to strive for a world where power is decentralized and freedom is real. Anarchy, in its many forms, continues to shape our world and challenge our understanding of power and authority.